Hey YouTube, I'm Jacob Cook, and I am leaving for Air Force basic training in less than 30 days. Um, I decided I wanted to do, kind of a small series of videos with advice and just insight on the whole process of enlisting and things like that for any of you guys and girls out there who are thinking about enlisting. Um, Unfortunately, I started these a little bit late, less than 30 days left to go, so it's a pretty limited time frame for me to be able to, help any of you guys out and things like that. But I'll do what I can. Leave any questions, comments, things like that in the comments of this video. And I'll try to get back to as many of you guys as I can before I leave. And speaking of that, I leave on December 30th, so anything after that point is not going to be getting answered by me for quite a while. Once I'm out of basic training, I'll try to come back to these videos and answer a few more questions and, hopefully post some more videos after I have a bit of knowledge on everything that goes on at basic training. Anyway, I guess I just kind of want to talk about, the type of stuff that I've been going through and just how I feel about the whole process. And I guess the way I feel about it is kind of described as being both excited and nervous about the whole thing. It's a pretty wide open future ahead of me, and for a change, I'm actually taking a leap of faith in my life and taking control by making the decision to enlist in the Air Force, which up until recently is something I've never really done. I've just been sitting around at home. I've lived in the same place my entire life, and I just feel like it's time to make a change. I've done 1 year of college, and it didn't do a whole lot for me, and I'd been thinking about enlisting for quite some time, and it was just something I really wanted to do, so I'm glad I finally made that call. And I'm looking forward to it just because there's that unknown factor. It kind of builds up excitement, and whatever happens at this point. I don't have a whole lot of control over those things, and so the way I look at it, I may as well make the most of it. And at the same time, that makes me nervous because I don't have a ton of control over what happens after this point. I'm actually going in on an open mechanical contract, which a lot of people are like, oh, an open contract, that's a terrible thing, why would you even agree to that? But I had a few different reasons. It actually wasn't even something I had on my list of jobs initially, but I had a bunch of different mechanical jobs listed, like aircraft avionics and maintenance type stuff. And so I got a call from my recruiter, and he offered me this slot on an open mechanical contract, and it was leaving a lot sooner than any of the other jobs that had been going out recently. So I agreed to it. So it looks like I'm not going to be finding out my job until, at least partway through basic training. So that's kind of a scary thing to go through. But, again, I'm going to do everything I can to make the most of the situation. And aside from that, it's just the whole factor of, leaving everything I know and everyone I love behind to go do this. It's kind of daunting. At first, when you enlist, or even just when you're thinking about enlisting, you don't really realize how, massive that is. But over the past few months, that's kind of just washed over me, and it hits you in waves almost, the way I see it. You begin to realize as you get closer to the date of how, big of a change this actually is. And, I'm still learning that, and I'll keep learning that, probably a ways into my first enlistment. Hopefully I'll have more than one enlistment. I'd love it enough to stay with it. But again, I'm going into this not knowing what to expect, and for all I know, I could love it. For all I know, I could hate it. Anyway, if I could provide just a little bit of advice for any of you guys who are either thinking about enlisting or who have already enlisted and are just waiting to get that phone call to find out when you're leaving, it would definitely be to just do as much stuff as you can before you leave. I actually left my job like around 2 months before my date of departure. And the reason I did that is because I'd been saving up money so that I could take time and go and travel and visit my friends. I mean, I've been going on road trips anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours away to go visit friends at their college campuses and their homes and things like that. And you know, I'm glad I've done it the way I have, because you know, pretty soon I don't know when I'll be able to see these guys again, and that's just kind of a hard reality about enlisting. And you know, that goes for any branch of the military, really. You know, it's difficult, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it'll be worth it. I'm pretty sure it will be. You know, if nothing else, if I decide that it's not for me and I want to get out after 4 years, at least I have all the benefits with schooling, things like that, paid for. You know, that's the type of stuff that really can't be beat. And I guess relating to what I was saying earlier with quitting my job, so far that's been one of the hardest things I've had to do, because I had a really a fulfilling job. I worked with kids in my old school district's child care program, and you know, it's just such a fulfilling job. I had kids on my last day of work who would come up to me bawling their eyes out, you know, telling me they don't want me to go, and tons of other kids giving me gifts and stuff like that. And actually, one cool thing that my school did for me is, or well, not my school, but the school I worked at, they have like a Veterans Day presentation slideshow type thing. And you know, obviously I'm not a veteran yet. I haven't gone through basic training, but you know, since so many of the kids at the school knew me, they decided to include me in that slideshow and have me come in for that presentation as a special guest, and you know, just explain to the kids the type of stuff that I'm going to be going through, where I'm going, and you know, what branch of the military I'm going into, fun things like that. Yeah, anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I think I'm going to stop this video here. Anyway, just as a reminder, feel free to comment with any questions or thoughts down below. I'll get back to as many of those as I can, and good luck to any of you guys out there who are thinking about enlisting or who have already.